Hello everybody, my name's Alan, also known as Mr. Autism. I'm here today to speak about autism, of course, yes again. I just wanted to go through a few things. Obviously, like I know this video is coming out a little bit late. I've had a pretty hectic week. I have for the past couple of weeks since 2018 has started, but I'm ready to get down and ready to start bringing out weekly videos from this point forward. So the first thing is, obviously, this is my first proper full video. The first thing, obviously, to discuss is what is autism. So autism is a developmental disorder characterized by troubles in social interaction and communication. Often also there is also restrictive and repetitive behavior. There is early speech and behavioural interventions can help children and also later on in life with adults with autism gain self-care, social and communication skills. Although there is no known cure, there's been cases of children who have been able to recover from it somehow, in some ways, but there has not been really any known way of how they are able to recover from it. And not many people, not many children or adults with autism are able to live independently after reaching childhood. Though there are some that are successful. I know there are a few from my own friends that have got autism that are now living on their own. They've even got their own family as well. But I know, obviously, that is something that is quite difficult for a lot of people. Um, an autistic culture has been developed as well, with some individuals seeking a cure, but I don't believe there is really going to ever be a cure, because autism is very, very complex. Like, although some people do want a cure for it, because it is so complex, and it's also like, it does seem to come up that some kids are actually born with autism because of certain things that goes through during a woman's pregnancy as well. So that is part of the reason why I think probably is that finding a cure will be physically impossible to do. But others believing that autism, it should also be accepted as a difference and treated as a disorder. Like, obviously, autism is very complex to actually try and get to know, because every single person with autism, when you're trying to get to know somebody with autism, you won't know autism as a whole, because every single person with autism is always going to be different. So that is obviously comes to my next question: how does it affect me? So the first thing for me is really it's difficulty in understanding things. So, like, I may ask somebody something, and they may say something, and I may have difficulty in trying to understand what they may try to say. Sometimes it might be better off them actually trying to talk to me about something in a very simple way. I believe that a lot of people with autism are probably the exact same way, but I know it's not obviously going to be exactly the same for every single person with autism. Um, Also, taking things literally. So, like, a lot of people with autism do tend to misunderstand body language quite a bit. They do, because, like, most people that may not necessarily have it, they can tell, say for example, if they're angry or they're fed up. Somebody with autism doesn't necessarily see that. It takes a lot more for them to actually realise, hang on a second, maybe they don't really want to know this sort of thing. Say for example, you're talking about, say for example, somebody like me might be talking about an interest of mine, and my family doesn't want to really know about it because they don't really have an interest in it. Like, sometimes I do try my best to try and figure that they that they don't want to know about it, but sometimes I don't always necessarily get that straight away. Um, and the other things are really, like, what typically with autism in general is that I do feel quite uncomfortable in from unfamiliar situations mostly, whether it might be in work or in a public place, and also in crowded places as well. And most people with autism do tend to feel like that. That is a mostly generic thing with autism. That is, but that is one of the main things that do affect me. It does in quite a large portion, especially in unfamiliar situations, because it's like I don't know how to deal with something, say for example, and most people with autism do generally feel that exact same way. So the difficulties as well. A lot of people have a lot of difficulties with autism, so whether they might have it themselves or whether somebody else knows somebody with autism, because it's not very clear to see. So say for example you're out in public, and you see a parent with their own child, say for example, throwing a bit of a tantrum. So like when a child's got autism, it's very very difficult for the parent to actually um, to maybe necessarily understand the child at first with autism, because maybe they haven't had the diagnosis just yet, say for example, because they don't know why maybe necessarily that they feel that way, the way that they do. It is very very difficult in that, and say for example then that person might go to the parent with a child with autism. Say for example you may want to quieten the child down. It's not necessarily because of that, it's because of the difficulties that they face. Like you can't just go up to somebody and just say, you need to sort out your child. It's not as simple as that, because they don't know what sort of scenario that the parent might be in with their child. They don't know who they are, really, to be honest. That's why really, that's that sort of thing. I believe really, you should let the parent try and deal with it, because you don't necessarily know what they've got, or that sort of thing. People not understanding autism is obviously a very very difficult thing. Like I know in the workplace it's something that's very difficult, where for example management is concerned. That is the main problem why people with autism, like young adults or even fully grown adults, have a very large difficulty of getting into work. Like I'm 25, I've got a few friends that are older than me, like 5 years older, that's never gone to work, and they probably never go to work because maybe their difficulties are much larger than mine. But obviously I am fully employed. I am myself. Like I'm very lucky to be in that scenario. I've got a manager who is very devoted to me. She actually knows somebody else as well outside of work that has got autism themselves at the age of 14. But obviously it's that difficulty with a lot of managers, because they don't know how to manage somebody with autism. They tend to stay away from that person with autism and not actually help them getting into a life like somebody else that doesn't necessarily have that, to try and get into that sort of environment, which is part of the reason why I'm wanting to do something like this. So in that way it's able to help everybody else, whether they know somebody who's got autism or who's got autism themselves, to try and get that sort of like more support, sort of thing, because that is something that is quite difficult, especially in the workplace or even in public as well, like say for example down your local high street. But yeah, like supporting somebody else as well, like it can be quite difficult, because it's knowing that singular person. Every single person is going to be different. It's a matter of taking one step at a time, trying to get to understand that person, because every single person with autism may have different difficulties in different areas, and it's not necessarily knowing every single thing about autism either. It's about trying to know that person. It is as well. So like that is pretty much the main parts of autism as well. So what I'm going to be doing during the next few weeks, I'm going to be trying to get out to the general public, to try and speak to others, how like if they know anybody with autism, if there's anything they properly understand, that sort of thing as well. To try and bring out, if to see if everybody else does know about it, and see what they understand about it themselves. Because like say for example myself going into a high street and asking others, do you know about autism, what do you know about it, do you know anybody who has got it, and then me saying to myself, I've got it myself. Like I've spoken to people before and then saying to them, I've actually got it myself, and they've not even believed me, because I don't look like I have actually got it. And that is probably one of the major parts. It's not seeing that they have actually got it. So I'll be doing that during the next few weeks to see how the next few weeks go, and then I'll go from there. So that will be the end of that video then. My name's Alan, also known as Mr. Autism, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.